Om. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karamavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the satsang of the Sri Satya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We are now doing the study circle on Gita Vahini, and we'll be starting on page 23 on the soft copy and page 39 on the hard copy, the book you have, where we'll start with the things are in the second chapter. Krishna has made clear from there. So third paragraph. So just suddenly I felt saying that we chant Om all the time. So we discussed this, but please, whatever, the other day I was hearing one senior devotee sharing, they were advising Swami in those days, 50 years ago, whenever we do prayers or singing bhajans or anything, two important things Swami emphasized. One is you should have bhava. Don't think like he said, they're worshipping an ideal picture, prana pratishtha. Think the Lord is there. Don't just make it mechanical. And Swami showed it so many times. I was sharing that they were putting flowers, some flowers, and that Swami had, they put in their shrine. Swami showed his feet, they had blisters. They asked Swami, what happened? You did that, he said. I said, what? That flowers? You should use, Swami, they've got time. You should use jasmine flowers, rose petals, and then you should have tulasi, and then chrysanthemum. So he said specifically what the Lord likes, so that we do that mechanically. So just think God is there when we touch his feet. Really, you are touching your feet, because Bharata did the rule the kingdom with the keeping those padukas for. So we should have that one important thing. Swami says you should have bhava, the feeling that God is there. Second is artha. You should understand the meaning. Each time when we do that, is that we itself, we talk, like people who want to do research, you can go to the whole Mandukya Upanishad. It talks about Omkar, and there is a great sage and teacher called Gaudapada. He wrote a Karika called Mandukya Karika. It was a small Upanishad, Mandukya, but the Karika commentary is so huge, dwelling on the significance of Om. So I wrote in the Eternal Companion editorial essence of that Mandukya and what Swami said about Om, because everything is Om. So when it was Pranavakara, Ganapati, we say Pranavakara, Mother Omkara Rupini, right? The Krishna, the bhajan Omkara Rupini Jananima, and Swami, even in the Om Jai Jagadishware, on the last part of the Arati, we said Omkara Rupa Vajas. So everywhere Om is the, all gods and goddesses are embodiments of Om, because that is the Nirguna Nirakara Brahman. That is the attributeless, formless attribute Brahman from which everything has come. So we need to think like that. And also I shared one time, it is a direct line. Swami said, God, when you call Om, it is direct one-to-one phone call you are making to God. You should see, like 3 times we say Om, Another way to say is, first we are thinking about him. Second, oh Lord, second home, you are calling him. Third, we are sitting here in front of us. Like that bhavana, that how you have that, then we really enjoy. Otherwise, it becomes the ritual, not spiritual. So when we add the bhava and meaning, then it becomes spiritual, certainly. And also, any question we have, we should clarify. Last week, I wanted to clarify anything you don't have. One of the devotees he met, he was very honest man, senior devotee, very good. So I said, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehna. Quoting that people don't eat, Lord Krishna said, but they are thinking this, only that vasanas will be gone only by God's grace. So then I was telling that some people do the fasting for one deity on Monday, one deity on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He understood, oh, I prayed to different God that time. Is it wrong? He said, yeah. I said, I didn't say that at all. So what he heard, you can pray to different deity each time, but remember it is the same God, same Brahman. Onkar, he can come as Ganesha, he can come as Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Durga, Lakshmi, and we should have that constantly remember it, the same Brahman we are praying every day. Even though you're praying Hanuman, you are praying Ganesha, Lakshmi, today is somebody said Varalakshmi Vratam. That same Divine Mother aspect is same Brahman. That conviction should be there. Otherwise, Swami says you won't progress. You should have that conviction. It is the same omnipresent Lord, because there is nothing wrong to enjoy God in different forms. Somebody said, like food we are presenting. So sometimes you like lemon rice, but because we all eat this rice. Another day somebody likes curd rice. Somebody likes sweet rice. Somebody likes ghee rice. I like mint rice. So, and another type is milk rice. Different kinds, but it's the same rice. Similarly, God, there is nothing wrong. You can enjoy in different names and forms, but never to forget it is the same God, whether we call Jesus. That's what Swami came to emphasize. People fight in the name of name and form, but always have conviction it is the same. So that person who asked, I want to clarify, there's nothing wrong. And also fasting, it is a discipline to fast, because not to eat. But if the fasting makes you weak, it is better to eat. And Lord Buddha, that is what he realized. He did it so long. He did austerities, became skin and bones. Then he realized that is not the way to spiritual progress. Self-mortification is not good. Self-indulgence is not good. Both are extremes. So you cannot you really torture your senses. God, they are God-given, this body. You can't make them, you wouldn't have energy. At the same time, sense indulgence. That is why Lord Krishna, too much eating is bad. Too little eating also is bad. Too much sleeping is bad. Too little sleeping is bad. So only for too much talking is bad, but too little talking is good. Silence is golden. That he didn't say that is bad. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasya, yukta swapna bodha. And too much sleep and too much eating, those are the things, and too much recreation. So this is all very clearly. So we need to, whenever we have doubts, we can clarify, but it is important to have the understanding, because somebody, that senior devotee was very sincere. He asked that question and I clarified. It is nothing wrong. Each form of God you can enjoy. You do that. Sri Ramakrishna, somebody asked, oh, you pray Mother Kali, you may. He said nothing wrong. There's the Bengal, there is had fish. Oh, sometimes I like fish fry. Sometimes because he is Bengal people, fish, they think jalapushpa. They are like, for them it is vegetable, because that is the common available and it is good. So I like fish fry, another time fish curry, another time this. So God you enjoy, but never forget there is only one God. That is the message I want. And fasting also, don't torture your body. Two examples I can tell. One is Swami himself on Shivratri. He told me the day before, tomorrow you come for lunch for our family. I told, they didn't believe. Yeah, you must imagine, Shivratri Roj, you're supposed to fast. Why will Swami come? You are imagining. And I said, okay, this is what he told me. I'll go. I'll be ready. Swami said, come. So when Savaratri day on lunch we had with, but these people were not prepared. So they are last minute, they had to rush family, children and all that. So, and even Shidi Sacharita, you read, one lady, she want to fast for a long time till Baba gives mantra. Swami says, no, you cannot fast in presence of the Lord. So just fasting by itself is okay as a discipline. That means, like, yeah, in every religion they have Ramadan, they fast, and in the Lent, Christians do, our people do, but there's nothing wrong in that. But that itself don't take you to God if you are going to think about the food. So that's why I wanted to share. Now coming back to Gita, last week main points. Any of you also can supplement that. Two things we talked about. One is Samabuddhi and Sangha Buddhi. So you were talking, Prabhin, that what Sangha Buddhi is always anything you do because of attachment to things. Whatever you are attached to people, attached to family, attached to friends, attached to money, attached to name, attached to power, position, anything you are attached, that is all bad. Only attachment which is good is only we are attached to God, it is good. Even that people, some people are criticizing, oh, you're too much attached, too much, too highly. And if somebody who used the word hyper religious, hyper spiritual, there's nothing like that. When Sri Ramakrishna was there, because he was in Dakshineshwar, then his concert, Mother Sharda Devi, she was in that village. So people thought this man got mad. Your husband, they used to share the rumors in the villages, always gossip. So your husband has gone mad. He became not unstable mentally. So poor lady, she was worried. She didn't know. Then when she came, so she was all God intoxicated. Then he was telling everybody is mad. Some people are mad after wealth. Some people are mad for position. Some people for name. Some people for power. Of all the madnesses, the best madness is madness for God. Then somebody asked Sri Ramakrishna a question. You are immersed so much, you'll be drowned. Like some place you go to drink water, you go there, it is superficial, you drink. You get drowned in that, you will die, right? So you are drowned too much in God. So how can you make it? Then he gave a beautiful thing. Salty ocean, if you are drowned, you will die. But you are drowned in this is Amrita Sagara. You are the ocean of nectar. That is, divinity is nectar. So you will become immortal. You won't die. So how beautifully, he was not a great, the worldly sense scholar, but he was the great saint and considered avatar. So how he gave explanation. So that is one. So please, if you want to have Sangha Buddhi, is dangerous. It will take us down. Samabuddhi is the one which takes us towards God. That is what I wanted to say. And anybody else, any other important point we covered, please, this is a study circle. So just to ask questions, comments, and you can tell any things. Also, we talked about the three important shlokas. You remember that? Chapter 2, shloka 7, chapter 9, 22, chapter 18, Karthik? 6. Yeah. So these are the three crucial things Swami said. So if you don't know all the shloka 700, at least these three, if you know, that is the most essence of Gita. That is very, and also this attachment to God. Also, I said one story Swami said. Does anybody remember? So one lady asked, Swami, attachment is bad. I'm attached to you. So this way I have so much pain. Why should be attached? It's really not good. Because like Gopikas, they were attached to Krishna. They were in so much pain when he was not there. So he gave an example. When you put little bit water in a big gallon of milk, what happens? That is also looks like milk. You cannot make it. Same thing, you put in a big gallon of water, little 1 spoon of milk, it looks like water only, right? So what it most. Similarly, God, who is embodiment of detachment, like is embodiment of love. So when you are attached to Him, automatically you will get the nature of that, so you will also get detached. So the best way to get detached from the world instead of struggling, get attached to God, naturally will be detached. There's a beautiful way Swami explains. That is what beauty of avatar is. It makes the most complicated philosophical truths. Like you read Aristotle, Plato, Dante, or even Aurobindo, your mind will get. Whereas these great avatars like Sri Ramakrishna, Swami, Shidi Baba, they make it very simple. Anybody, even though you didn't go to college or school, you can understand, make it, you can live the things. That is the beauty. So now I think if anybody wants to make any comments, please go ahead. If not, we'll start the thing on page 39, starting in the second chapter.
Sairam. In the second chapter, Krishna has made clear in a general way 4 principal points: the Saranagathi principle, the Sankya teaching, the yoga attitude, and the Sthithaprajna nature. We have noted the first 3 already, now about the 4th. Krishna taught Arjuna the nature and characteristics of the Sthithaprajna when Arjuna questioned him. Arjuna prayed, "O Keshava," and when that appellation was used, Krishna smiled. For he knew then that Arjuna had understood his splendor. Do you ask how? Well, what does Keshava mean? It means he who is Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the Trimurti. Through Krishna's grace, Arjuna had reached the stage of realization. When Arjuna prayed that Keshava must tell him the true characteristics of Sthithaprajna, he replied, "Partha, he will be free from all desire. He will be stable in the knowledge and awareness of the Atma only." Now, there are 2 processes in this. To give up all the promptings of desire in the mind is the negative process. To implant joy, ever-present joy therein, is the positive aspect. The negative process is to remove all the seedlings of wrong and evil from the mind. The positive process is to grow in the field cleansed, thus the crop of attachment to God. The cultivation of the crop you need is positive. The plucking of the weeds is the negative stage. The pleasures the senses draw from the objective world are weeds. The crop is the attachment to God. The mind is a bundle of wishes, and unless those wishes are removed by their roots, there is no hope of destroying the mind, which is a great obstacle in the path of spiritual progress. When the yarn that comprises the cloth is taken out one by one, what remains of the cloth? Nothing. The mind is made of the warp and woof of wishes. When the mind vanishes, the Sthithaprajna is made. Want me to stop?
Yeah, yes, we did all many paragraphs, and so that is why here Swami says we dive deep. So just to also go in depth and discuss, and that open for comments and questions. So.
I just kind of in the beginning paragraph, just to kind of define a little bit. Everybody else probably knows the meanings, but just for those who don't, Saranagathi is surrender. Sankya is really the self-knowledge, awareness of self-knowledge versus the external influence leading to freedom. So it's just sort of understanding your true path and what is within is permanent. And then, of course, we have yoga, and that we've kind of gone through that. And then, of course, just the prajna. Now we've discussed that quite a bit because it's really, in the human birth, this is really probably the biggest accomplishment that any of us can have in our own path, in our own sadhana. One of the things here that Lord Krishna talks about is the idea of desire and how I love this analogy of desires in the mind being the weeds and just plucking out the weeds, and then you have this beautiful crop which is what we should be, which is that positive stage, that attachment to God, which we were talking about earlier. The mind really, everything that we see around us is really a projection of what's in our mind. And I think whenever we have these thoughts, the weeds, which are sort of a physical example of that, we label things. Even just looking around, you label this rug or a cushion. But at the end of the day, it's all just sort of a projection, when what really exists is this divine, this God energy, this divine energy, and Atma sort of pervades everything, even some of these things that we think might be inanimate. It is created for the purpose of whatever dharma we are all trying to find, which is being the steadfast human. I don't know if people read or listen to Eckhart Tolle, but he talks a lot about thought and sort of removing ourselves from thought and these sort of projections that we put out there. And when because it sort of labels things and then we attach to those labels, once we remove that, then the attachment to the divine becomes a lot more solid, and we're more present, which is what a lot of what he talks about is just being present and not attaching to anything. So there's a lot more in this chapter, so I'll stop.
Anybody else has any comment? So there are 4 things Swami was talking about. One is Saranagathi, because that is the ultimate word in spirituality, surrender. So like even great Advaitic master Ramana Maharshi, who is taught the non-duality, he talked about there is no difference between jnana and surrender. Both are essentially the same, because people with bhakti path think that is surrender, but jnana and surrender is same. And the whole thing interesting in Gita is it starts with surrender. That is why I said chapter 2, sloka 7. Shadimam Tvam Prapanna. Oh Lord Krishna, is Arjuna, please command me. Prapanna, I'm surrendering to you. Please command me what to do. Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapanna. I am your disciple. Till now, he didn't say I'm your brother. He used to think friend, brother-in-law, they used to joke each other and all that, because they're related. But now he says, I am Shishya, I am your, that means you follow the Guru's command. Just to command me. He doesn't even say, give advice me. Shadimam means command. I'm surrendering to you. And the end, again, after all these chapters, 18th chapter, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam. There also again talks about surrender. And then he says, Karishe Vachanam Tava. Now, Lord, I will implicitly follow your words. That is what it all refers to as. Swami, we come there. He gave us the teachings, what we should follow. And then we should say, Karishe, Lord, we will follow what you say. That is what pleases God, what he says. Because Sri Krishna Janmashtami discourse we were putting in the Eternal Companion, Swami makes it very clear. There is no difference between Sri Krishna and his words. That is Gita. So if you really love Krishna, you love Gita. If you love Gita, that means you are really loving Lord Krishna. Same thing with Swami. There is no difference between Swami and his words. You say, oh, I love Swami, but when somebody says, I don't think he means it. And if you do that, that means you really don't love Swami. Suddenly this aside, I remember one of our relatives, 2 people, they are devotees too, so who can judge? Swami called them, they were wealthy people. So Swami called the interview and then told, because they are both a little overweight people, should not eat too much, that is not good for even physical health, Swami said. So please cut down, you should not eat. They said, yes, Swami, yes, Swami. Then right after the interview is over, they go to the South Indian canteen and they says, 2 idli, 2 vada, 1 dosa, this much upma. Then that other person said, hey, Swami just now said, he says that we don't take it that serious. That is his thing. So most of though it looks funny, so many people are like that. So what he says, yeah, it doesn't matter. So just we don't take it literally, every word what he says is very seriously. So that is what you need to take. And second, there is Saranagathi principle. And second is Sankya teaching is his knowledge of the self. That is why he goes on talking what is Atma and Anatma. Because most of that, first you need to differentiate. What is Atma? Atma is the one which is eternal, imperishable. You can't cut, you can't burn it, and you can't wet it. So it is completely untouchable. Whereas anatma, the body and the mind, they are always subject to change. So that is why Sankya, the whole philosophy he gives in the second chapter, actually almost is like summary of what he's going to talk about. That is the prologue, what Lord Krishna says. And then that is epilogue in 18, he summarizes. That is the beauty of the teacher. He says what he is going to talk about in chapter 2, and he summarizes in chapter 18. There's first he talk about what is Saranagathi and what is Atma and Anatma. Then yoga. Yoga also people think that it's Raja Yoga, they're all yogas. What is yoga? We talked about what yoga is definition is? Union with God. So there is different ways. Every yoga is Vishada Yoga, Sankya Yoga, Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Atma Samyam Yoga. All these yogas, every 18 chapter, each one is we call yoga. That means this is the way to be connected with God. But in that yoga, one of Patanjali Swami says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Swami was talking, listening to discourse. Control of the chitta vritti, that is thoughts, yes, she was mentioning. The whole thing is thoughts. They are the one who gets into trouble, nothing else. So we live, each one of us live in our own world, means world of our own thoughts. So the whole thing is turn those minds, saturate them towards God. So that is the whole secret. That is real yoga. People think, a lot of people yoga equate with the Hatha yoga or Raja yoga. Both are not real yogas. That is the help for the physical body, physical health, that is good, or control of the breath control, all those. But real yoga is which makes you connected to God. And third thing is talking about this Sthithaprajna. We dealt it before, but any number of times. Man of steady wisdom. Sthitha means Prajna is wisdom, man of steady wisdom. That is why Sloka 54, he asked the question, because he mentioned Arjuna, Sthithaprajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Lord, who is the Sthithaprajna? How does he walk? How does he talk? What is his behavior? So like a good student he asked. Then the Lord explains in 18 shlokas what is Sthithaprajna is, from the shloka 55 to 72. So this is, should remember. And I said similar thing in 3 more chapters I told. Anybody can summarize, anybody can say at least the chapters and where same concept Lord Krishna talks about, identical.
Chapter 9.
No, not chapter 9. Chapter 9, Rajavidya Rajaguhyo, just Ananya Chintayanto Madasan, but qualities, similar qualities is chapter 12 in Bhakti Yoga, where the qualities, how does a Bhakta behave? We always used to chant in front of Swami, Adveshta Saro, Sloka 13 to Sloka 20th. Actually, you should all read 12th chapter. The reason is Arjuna gets doubt like that because we think God has no form, no name. Ultimately, that is what Semitic religions strongly believe and our Vedanta. But we worship name with God and form. So which is better to do? That is why Arjuna asks, is it good to worship God without name and form or with name? Then he gives explanation how it is difficult to worship God without name and form because we have body consciousness. And then he gives qualities of a devotee. Sloka 13 to 20th, chapter 12. And then same thing in chapter 13. There we also, oh, he's a jnani, he's an evolved soul. People always talk about this. I will just keep quiet. Clearly there also, Lord Krishna gives in chapter 13, in sloka 8 to 12, what a jnani is, just in 5 slokas. And then chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the qualities. The other day somebody was asking, who is tamas guna, what is rajas guna, what is sattva guna, what is beyond 3 gunas, 3 guna theta. That is also, it is given in chapter 14. So there is also sloka 21 to 25. So these are all, if you read them, put them all them together, this is the essence, you will see identical. Every place says Samabuddhi, Samabuddhi. In a different way, you can just go back and do research, somebody study it. He says just equal-mindedness. That is the whole emphasis. In a different way, Lord Krishna emphasizes, repeats, but it's the same theme. Is saying then that is how, and here Nirupam, she read that particular shloka first, only one shloka Swami explained here. That is where you control the desires. That says two things he said. Swami says one is negative. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamano gatan. First he says, you sarvan kaman, all the desires. You should say, you should get rid of it. This is not easy. I said, Swami is so kind. What did he say? Ceiling on desires. At least cut it down. If you say no desires, Swami says nobody will come to Vardarshan in Prashanti. It will be all will be empty, he said. So that is why one time Swami fell down and a hip fracture at that time. This was a long time ago, before, not before recent one, long time ago. And so another time we had the paralysis, then I see here the left side. And then Kasturi, and then said, Swami, all the devotees are crying. They think they are missing the darshan. Please give darshan. Oh, my devotees, where are they? Oh, they are worried. They want their son to get married. Oh, they had only two girls. They want a boy. They think, or they want a promotion in the job. Or they have trouble with at work. Something they are coming. Who is the one who wants only Lord? You want you only? They are devotees of money or family or friends, and they are not devotees of God. Then they will say, only I want you, I don't want all that. So he says, I'm waiting, I'm looking for them. So like that, this is Prajahati yada kaman sarvan parthamanogatan. You should get rid of all desire. Then that person, what happens? Atmanyeva atmana tushta. Sthithaprajna. The definition, he says, he is happy with himself. He doesn't need any outside thing to be happy. We all want something outside to be happy, right? Let's be frank. Some company or something you want to see, but that person, Sthithaprajna, he is happy within himself. He doesn't need outside agency to be happy. That's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi didn't even move from Tiruvannamalai. Just he was there near the mountain with a loin cloth. He was in his own Brahmananda. So that is what it is. Atmanyev Atmanatushta. That is why when you go deep into that shlokas in that thing, you will really enjoy. That is why he says Prajahati Yada, all the thing, and Atmanyev Atmanatushta Sthithaprajnasya Goachit. Okay, anybody else has any comments on that? Okay, go ahead.
Sairam.
God, Krishna has one, and you first. Yeah.
Even this paragraph, I guess I'm fascinated about the Sangha Buddhi, that Swami coined that word. That entanglements, raga, dvesha, all those are the negative things. When you pluck those, then you become equanimous, samabuddhi. So even those two words are really powerful.
Yes.
To explain it.
As Sangha is what really attachment, Swami says, because of two things. Only two planets which bother us. Swami says we have 9 planets, like people do Shani Puja, we got up with Shani, or Rahu, Ketu. There are 9 planets, which is true, their influence. But really only 2 planets, Swami says, influences. One is Raga, Dvesha. Something you like, something you dislike. So those are the 2 major planets. And with God's grace, you can conquer that. But it is not that easy, let me tell you. That is why in one of the Durga Shakti, it says, Jnaninam api chetamsi devi bhagavad balada krushya mohaya mahamaya prayachati. This maya is so powerful, even jnanis, people think, they just get temporarily confused, deluded. When you go through crisis, that is the time it shows how much strength you have. When everything going smooth, we are all happy. But when you go to the trials and tribulations, how you can stand over that. So that is why some people say that time they give up Swami. I've seen many people. They call Sai, now you're Rai. That means you're like stone-hearted Swami. They walk away. So but great devotees of the Lord, through thick and thin, all the time they hold on to God. They never leave. But it's easy when things are like how much this attachment is. You go to Devi Suktam, there is a beautiful story. There was a king, his name is Suratha. So this king was doing everything well, everything going good. He was very happy. Suddenly, these neighboring, some enemies came, and one time they conquered, and they took his ministers, and the ministers were part of the plot. So, and then this guy has to sent away from the kingdom. He has to leave the kingdom. So he was away, and he went to a hermitage of a saint called Medha. Medha is we say when we chant Gayatri Medha, and Medha Suktam also is there. And then there was another man. He's a business guy. His name is Samadhi, but he was not in Samadhi. Samadhi means he's equal. He's a business fellow. He was there. His own wife and children planned such that, because there's a lot of money, it happens at a lot of places. They planned such that they took away all his money and then said, "You have nothing," and then they threw him out. His own wife and children. So he said he has to go. And both of these people happened to meet in the forest. This is a nice story in the Devi Suktam, also called Chendi. So there they meet and they go to this, they will be talking and they say, "Hey, why you are so sad?" "Oh, I was a king. Yeah, now let us do meditation." "No, I think about my elephants, my camels, how my ministers are doing, what is happening. Hey, it's all gone. Why do I? But still my mind thinks about those things." And this guy, the business guy, he thinks, "Oh, what is happening to my wife? What is happening to my children? Oh, the business hope they threw you out. Why are you thinking about them?" That is Maya. So even though you have that painful lesson in life we have go through, still you have that attachment. That is called moha. Knowing that is something wrong, you are holding on to this king and then that businessman. In life it happens. That is lesson for us is, even though we know only the person who comes with us is God. These friends and relatives will love everybody, but don't be thinking they are the one who will save. Only person who saves is God. Then this Medha, the great sage, he teaches how to really conquer this delusion, so that we are, once you attach to Divine Mother, they talk about their Devi is Divine Mother, then she will take care, she will get rid of all your delusion and moha will be gone, you will come to God. So that is important. So you need, that it's not easy this to, most of the people we have Sangha Buddhi, we get attached. Slowly by constant practice, the more we think about God in our thoughts, words and deed, then it is easy, because you're all the time automatically you're not attached to that. That's why fill the day with the thoughts of God. So that's a good point. Anybody else? Like Krishna wanted, yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention about this couple of things about Arjuna, what Swami is talking about. The thing is surrender, something we talked about here, Sthithaprajna, Sthita, steady, we talk about. That kind of surrender, when Karpanya Doshopata Subha, when he said it, then again, he also when the Gita ended, Akarishya Vachanam Tava, I will do whatever you say. And then after the war, when the war was going on, when Abhimanyu was killed, we also know what he was doing. In the story, if you read. So it's a constant process of reminding ourselves this surrender. Often we forget. So even person like Arjuna, who is very, very devoted, but to know who he was, even to get the teaching, why Swami, the first important thing is that surrender, he did not get at that particular thing. He was actually, when he went to Sri Krishna to ask him to come and help, at that time the enemy Duryodhana is also gone to see Sri Krishna. Even actually he went earlier before Arjuna went there. And then we know the story, how it happened. Duryodhana is very egoistic, so he went and sat near the head of Sri Krishna when he was sleeping, and Arjuna came and sat on the feet. And then Sri Krishna woke up and he saw Arjuna first, And he said, what do you want? But Duryodhana said, I came first, you have to give me what I have to ask. But then he asked what he wanted. Basically, Krishna said, no, I saw Arjuna first, so I have to give the chance to Arjuna. Here also you can see how the Lord is testing. The Lord tested Arjuna, actually speaking, not Duryodhana there. Does he really has that, he really wants God. He gave the thing, okay, I have the entire army you take, or only me who has I'm not going to even take the weapons. Then Sri Krishna said, I don't want anything else, I just want the Lord. And of course, Duryodhana was happy that he got the army. This one incident, why I'm telling is it's a very important incident that we have to choose the Lord all the time. And if you go back, this whole Pandavas have been doing that very well. Every time they were choosing the Lord. So even we forget times that we don't, 24/7, we are not thinking about God. Let's be practical, we are not. But I too pray to Swami, Swami, I know I don't, but please help me that it is your thing. Don't, this Maya and everything, everybody is talking about it. You can take me. If I am in your hands, I don't need to worry about it. Make sure that I don't forget about you. That is your job. The thing is, this way, what happens is you develop a relationship, and that surrender, that bow, slowly it gets developed. More and more we connect with Swami, more and more we connect. That's sthita is the very important part. It's steady. Steady, we go on attaching to him, attaching. At some point, he will give. It's not that he's not going to give, but it is the time that what our karmas, all those things have to get erased. Then we will be with him. Then we see Swami, everybody nearby, everyone. We see Swami everywhere. That is the best thing that can happen. Saira.
Surrender, just seeing God in everything. What all exists, real surrender is you realize there is nothing but God alone exists. That is why Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripasate. So he says Ananyas Chintayanto. People translate everything. God gives a different meaning. That is one meaning all the commentators say, great teachers, even Ramanuja, Shankara, that you think about only God and nothing else. But Swami said, Ananyas Chinta, that means you see nothing but God. That means we see people, we see men, women, bees, mountains, river. In everything, that is what the beauty of the Rudram is. In everything, you see God. But let me tell you, surrender is, as long as we have body consciousness, surrender is not easy. But you go on practicing, he will make you have that. That is why Swami one time said, the very fact we are able to sit here, think about him, sing, let me tell you, is only by God's grace. There are so many people who want to even think about God, come to satsang, they cannot do that. The Swami clearly mentioned, only by my grace, you can think about me, and you worship me and do my work. Otherwise, you cannot. So there are so many people who leave the Lord in different avatar, Krishna, Rama, Ramakrishna, and here. So we should be constantly grateful to God, and bless me with more and more opportunities. So that is why when I was younger days, I used to every time letter to Swami Tabase. There is a beautiful bhajan, Tabaseva ki avasaradido Sathya Sai Bhagavan. Lord, give me the opportunity to serve. Every time. Swami said, you same thing. Then Swami didn't say anything. Suddenly he put all that, they bombarded me with so many work to do, which is good at a different stage of my life. So at least I can spend all the time with, doing his work. So just you should always really be grateful to that he is able to make you think that you are doing the reading his scriptures, singing his bhajans, and attending the satsang, going anywhere, anything do, that is only by the grace of God. Not that we want to do. Sometimes we want to do, things won't happen. But if we have that longing, we should have that passion or longing, hunger, spiritual hunger, he will make things happen. So that is what we constantly need to pray. I think it's time up, and so we will continue next one.